Welcome to LyFiveElements, where we are dedicated to sharing the wisdom of traditional Chinese metaphysics with the world. Our mission is to teach complex subjects like the four pillars of destiny, also known as Bazi, Qi Feng Shui, and more, in simple, easy to understand English. Subscribe and share our content to help spread this ancient knowledge. Your support is what drives us forward. We also offer personalized, one-on-one consultations to guide you on your metaphysical journey. Feel free to leave a comment or contact us directly for more information.
The relationships among the heavenly stems are relatively simple. There are only 5 types of combinations and 4 types of clashes. Because the knowledge points that follow are quite numerous, you can pace yourself by memorizing 2 points a day. In 3 or 4 days, you will have all mastered. What do the 5 combinations of the heavenly stems mean? When Jia meets Ji, they combine and transform into earth energy. When Yi meets Geng, they transform into metal energy. And when Bing meets Yin, they transform into water energy. When Ding meets Ren, they transform into wood energy. And finally, when Wu meets Gui, they transform into fire energy. As for the 4 clashes, they go like this. Jia clashes with Geng. Yi clashes with Xin. Bing clashes with Ren. And Bing clashes with Gui. Some people ask, why are there 5 combinations but only 4 clashes? That's because Earth does not clash with Earth. In fact, this reflects the principle of the 7 killings relationship. Fire and water are opposites that clash, but Earth and Earth are mutually neutral and do not conflict. First, let's talk about the 3 meetings. What exactly is the 3 meetings structure? This one is relatively easy to understand. For example, Hai, Zi, Chou gather to form northern water energy. What does that mean? This corresponds to the 10th, 11th, and 12th lunar months, the coldest part of winter. So this is when water energy is at its peak. If you are unfamiliar with what I am talking about, refer to lesson 14 of the basic course on which month the earthly branches represent. My lessons are arranged such that the level of difficulty increases as we progress. You will require the knowledge from the previous lessons in order to understand the later ones. Therefore, I suggest you to start from lesson 1 of the basic course if you have zero Bazi knowledge. For those who are familiar or have learned Bazi before, you can skip the parts that you already know. Moving on. Yin, Mao, Chen represents spring, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd lunar months, when wood energy is the strongest. So they form the eastern wood. Si, Wu, Wei represents summer and form southern fire energy. Shen, You, Xu represent autumn and form western metal energy. This is the structure of the 3 meetings. What about the 3 combinations? They are Shen, Zi, Chen combining into water, Yin, Wu, Xu combining into fire, Hai, Mao, Wei combining into wood, and Si, You, Chou combining into metal. This is the 3 combination structure, and it can transform into the 4 elements: water, fire, wood, and metal. For most hobby learners, I actually don't recommend memorizing all of this because modern chart plotting software will automatically show them. You can easily see what combinations and transformations appear in your natal chart. And when you click on different annual or 10-year luck cycles, the related combinations will be listed automatically. However, if you want to become a professional Bazi practitioner, you must be able to memorize this by heart. Next, we have the sixth harmony. Si and Shen combine to produce water. Chen and You combine to produce metal. Mao and Xu combine to form fire. Yin and Hai combine to form wood. Zi and Chou combine to form earth. Wu and Wei combine into either fire or earth. The combination of Wu and Wei is a bit more complicated, as it does not have a fixed transformative outcome. If your natal chart contains more fire, then Wu and Wei will transform into fire. If your chart contains more earth, then it will transform into earth. In other words, the Wu-Wei combination can shift depending on the overall chart. There is another concept called half-tree combination and arc combination, and you will also encounter this in practice. Recall that in the last lesson, we talked about the three combinations. So what is a half-tree combination? Take Shen, Zi, Chen, which can combine to transform into water. Here, a question arises. When Shen meets Zi, the two halves form a half combination, and they can already generate water. When Zi meets Chen, they also form a half combination, and this pair can also generate water. This is considered a valid combination formation, and we call it a half combination formation. We will later discuss the energetic structure behind this. Similarly, Yin, Wu form a half combination. Wu, Xu form a half combination. Hai, Mao form a half combination. Mao, Wei form a half combination. Si, You form a half combination. You, Chou also form a half combination. Why? Because each pair can generate the qi of the element that three full combination would produce. Look closely in the Yin, Wu, Xu combination. The middle branch, Wu, itself belongs to the fire element. This is called the central spirit. The central spirit joins with either of the two neighboring branches to produce a half transformation. This dynamic forms what we call a half-tree combination formation because it can still produce the fire qi of the full combination. Only a full three combination formation can give rise to a half-tree combination formation. What is an arc combination? It refers to a combination without the central spirit, meaning the middle branch. Zi, Wu, Mao, You is missing. For example, when Shen encounters Chen, they form an arc combination toward water. But since neither branch contains water, if they wish to produce water qi, a water heavenly stem must appear to guide the transformation. Only then can the water qi be arced into existence. If Shen and Chen meet without any water element appearing in the heavenly stems, then the arc combination does not succeed and we do not consider it a valid arc combination. Similarly, yin and shu, even when the middle branch wu is absent, can form an arc combination toward fire, but only if a fire heavenly stem appears to guide the transformation. Otherwise, it is not successful. The same principle applies to all other arc combinations. The ancients observed that when certain characters encounter each other, misfortune may occur, so they use the term punishment to describe this phenomenon. It represents a form of penalty or punishment. When the characters involved in the three punishments appear together, unfavorable events are likely to happen. The three punishments consist of three groups: Chou, Wei, Xu; Yin, Si, Shen; and Zi, Mao. These are three such groups in total, which is why they are collectively called the three punishments. Among the three punishments, the combination of Chou, Wei, Xu is the strongest. It represents physical injury, bloodshed, imprisonment, serious illness, lawsuits, or even sudden violent death. The Yin, Si, Shen punishment is slightly weaker in comparison. It indicates illness, marital problems, traffic accidents, and legal disputes, among other issues. At the very least, it usually does not result in death. In contrast, Chou Wei Xu punishment can potentially be fatal. The Zi and Mao punishment is the weakest of the three. Compared with the other two groups, the Zi Mao punishment carries the least force. It mainly represents verbal disputes and arguments. For women, if pregnancy occurs in such a year, it may indicate a risk of miscarriage. This is something everyone should be aware of.
Another type of punishment involves Pen, Wu, You, and Hai. This is also a form of punishment called self-punishment. When two identical characters appear together, it constitutes self-punishment. For example, Chen meeting Chen, Wu meeting Wu, You meeting You, or Hai meeting Hai is considered self-punishment. What does self-punishment represent? People whose charts contain self-punishment tend to experience strong inner conflict and may torment themselves psychologically. In addition, the six relatives represented by the two involved palaces may also mutually torment or wear each other down. For Chen, Wu, You, and Hai, a single character represents only its own level of energy. When two identical characters appear together, it becomes a 2 times 5 relationship, turning into 10 times the energy. If the natal chart originally contains only one of these characters, and another identical one appears in the major luck cycle or annual luck cycle, this is also called self-punishment. In such a chart, what was originally a single unit of energy suddenly becomes 10 times stronger. This creates a major shift in the energetic structure of the Bazi, and the native will experience noticeable events or issues. Self-punishment essentially represents an increase in energy. If what is being punished brings out favorable or useful elements, it results in good things. If it brings out unfavorable or inauspicious elements, it leads to bad outcomes. In addition, when self-punishment occurs, the 6 relatives represented by the affected palace will also be impacted. This is what we call self-punishment which applies to Chen, Wu, You, and Hai. It belongs to the same category of punishment as the 3 punishments. And generally, when self-punishment is discussed, it often indicates that unfavorable events may occur. There is another situation that is considered the most serious and one that is very rare. I have only heard about it and have never personally encountered it. I have only seen it mentioned in ancient texts. That is when a chart contains 2 sets of self-punishment. For example, You You and Chen Chen forming 2 separate self-punishments. People with such a structure may be prone to suicide. This is because those with self-punishment in their destiny tend to experience severe inner conflict and self-torment. Having one set of self-punishment is still manageable. If there are 2 sets, the danger arises when a major luck cycle or annual cycle triggers them. For instance, if there are already 2 You and another You appears, or 2 Chen and another Chen comes in through luck cycles, this can lead to suicidal tendencies or actions. I have only heard of such cases and have not personally seen one. I am mentioning this here simply to make everyone aware. The ancient masters observed long ago that when certain characters encounter one another, they can produce special chemical reactions. Among the 12 earthly branches, there are 6 types of clashes. These are the Zi-Wu clash, Mao-You clash, the Yin-Shen clash, the Si-Hai clash, the Chen-Xu clash, and the Chou-Wei clash. So how can we remember them? Here, we divide the 12 earthly branches into 3 groups. Zi, Wu, Mao, and You are known as the 4 cardinals, also called the 4 peach blossoms. Yin, Shen, Si, and Hai are known as the 4 traveling horses and the 4 stages of growth. Then, Chen, Xu, Chou, and Wei are all earth in nature. They are known as the 4 graves and also the 4 storage branches. When we analyze a person's Bazi chart, the physical appearance of their relatives, the 6 relationships is also interpreted using this framework. Generally, if a certain palace contains Zi, Wu, Mao, or You, the relatives represented by that palace tend to be more good-looking. Relatives associated with Yin, Shen, Si, and Hai come next, while those associated with Chen, Xu, Chou, and Wei tend to have a slightly less attractive appearance. You can remember this by dividing them into 3 groups: Zi, Wu, Mao, and You. Yin, Shen, Si, and Hai, and Chen, Xu, Chou, and Wei. With this in mind, the 6 clashes become easy to memorize. Zi clashes with Wu. Mao clashes with You. Yin clashes with Shen. Si clashes with Hai. Hen clashes with Xu. And Chou clashes with Wei. These are the outcomes of the 6 clashes. As for what events these clashes bring about, we must look at the palaces in which they are located within Bazi chart.
Don't miss out. Hit subscribe and share to join us on this incredible journey of discovery. Your support fuels our passion to keep creating. Any questions or need personalized guidance? Leave us a comment or get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for being part of the LyFiveElements family. If anything is unclear, feel free to drop a comment below. I would love to discuss and explore these topics with you. And for those of you who want to understand your Bazi chart but find the learning process too complicated, you can always message me for a one-on-one consultation. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Your support truly motivates me to keep sharing this knowledge. See you in the next lesson.